If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., it's all about JP. It's his 40th birthday bash. We're looking forward to having fun celebrating his 40th birthday with all of his friends watching live around the world. That's all I got. It's all about Johnny. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troup.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledger here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly, does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
It's been a while since I had Popeyes. This is day 10 of me being sick, and well, I'm not dead yet, so that's a good thing. I may have to mute my mic so I don't mess up your earbuds by coughing my lungs out, but we're here. We're here to celebrate the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny Petraglia Jr. on his 40th birthday. But before we do that, let me bring in my first co-host. He is the man with the golden mask. He has the largest arms on this podcast. He's the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. Live from Ochoville on his outside patio deck. The one and only Dr. Ocho. What's going on, Och? Good evening, my friend.
Rob, have we ever done we do raw looks inside of things. Have we ever done a medium rare look into anything like that, by the way? Have anything, a medium well, a medium period? I'm sure there's, come on, Rob, help me out here. Are you coughing up a lung? That's technically abs for you, by the way. Did you know that?
You know, my abs actually hurt from coughing.
You're probably going to be sore from coughing and be like, oh, man, that's like getting out of bed. Anyway.
But I lost 10 pounds when I went to the doctor.
You'll find it, I'm sure.
You're such an asshole. You're such an asshole. Okay.
Day 10 of 5 of being sick.
Yes. Gotcha. All right.
Happy birthday, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. That was a hell. You came in hot. That was a hell of an open.
Thanks.
All right, let's bring in the man of the hour, who's no longer in his 30s. I'm sure that's sad. But let's make this a fun show. I know. He is the man with the name of the marquee. He is number 7 in the program, number 1 in your hearts, the sexiest man in the world, the one and only Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. JP, happy birthday, brother. Thanks for being here, my man.
As always, thank you for the beautiful, beautiful introduction, Rob. always appreciative. Thanks for reminding me that I'm officially out of my 30s, as if I wasn't upset about it enough. But
I do what I do.
Thank you very, very much.
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Let's go.
No, you know what?
Right, have you had a good
10
day,
years
bro?
from the senior tour, man.
It's been a perfect birthday, which I got to start out by simply doing a shout out, first of all, to thank Sylvia specifically for picking out my attire tonight. She said to go with the white V-neck. So even though it's a little bit more form-fitting, I opted for the white V-neck. So thanks to Sylvia with an I. And as promised, there's your shout out.
It's your traditional look. So, I mean, it's...
You could have written with a marker Cutler or something, or Cutler Fitness right on it.
I have I wear enough Cutler shit on here. It felt better to go with the generic white today. So
could have wrote Hanes on it then.
It's a little bit racist.
But actually does say Hanes. It's one of those tagless tees. So it's perfect.
Crambone wants to wish you a happy birthday. What's going on, Crandall?
Thank you, Dave. Pleasure to see you as always. Scotty, good to see you. No, it's
He-Man's brother.
Nico's in the house.
He-Man's sister was here. I just saw.
I think I saw that too.
BSJ
Nico,
83.
answer Nico's question real quick. Nico, I felt old for about a decade, so that hasn't changed in the last.
Hard miles.
That's true.
I had that planned to do that. By the way, happy birthday, Nicole. I had that.
Birthday, Nicole,
you
as
don't even
well.
know the plans we had.
Hello, Nicole. Chuck Ritchie's in the house. What's going on, Chuck, my buddy?
Thank you, Chuck.
We got Alex Bermudez in the house.
Banana Fana. Oh wait, never mind.
Feliz comes.
That's in the yard.
That sounds a little rude, but
that's probably the extent of the Spanish that I know. So it kind of felt bad.
Hey, my friend Dave Castoli's in the house. What's up, Dave?
Very
First
nice.
time here. Good to see
You don't have a friend. Are you crazy?
Nate, the second sexiest man. The number two. Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, after it's me, obviously third.
Nate.
What's going on, Nate? We got Adam Bernhardt in the house. Tell me you're old without telling me you're old. I go to virtual birthday parties. That's fantastic.
I'll tell you, I'm old. Best music. I mean, I'll tell you what makes me old is the most exciting thing about today was that I did nothing.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's perfect.
I ate like an absolute asshole starting last night going into today. I ate nothing but McDonald's, Burger King, pizza, like a whole liter of cola, just like what's his name from Super Troopers. And my stomach is really, really feeling it right now. So
that's basically Thursday for me.
That's every day for me.
Really Johnny Bones Jones, the heavyweight champion of the UFC, is in the freaking house right now.
No, actually, it's my friend John. Even my friends are turning out to wish Johnny a happy birthday. So that's pretty awesome. What's up, John? Eric Hodorowski, our favorite. Happy birthday, Johnny.
We love Eric.
Your good buddy Nick D'Ambrosio.
We love Nick. Yeah.
Stands here. 10 more for AARP. Yeah, that's
10 more for the senior tour.
That's typical.
I already said that, man. Everyone's stealing my shit.
What's up?
I don't know what I was doing. I'm sorry about that.
Stephanie Sheridan, Eric's better half.
Ready for the over-under tournament. So am I. That's actually fantastic. I'm actually really, really looking forward to that. So it is kind of good to be 40 in that respect.
Jeff Skyers, what's up, my friend? Roger Meany, as always, is here.
For some reason, my phone isn't ringing off the hook for people to bowl over-unders. I'm not sure why.
What's up, P-Cow?
You're a
John
house
Laspina in the house as well. Hey, what's up, John?
Uncle John, good to see you.
All right. I know I said I wasn't going to do anything special for your birthday because I was sick, but I felt better today, so I actually did something special for you, Johnny. And I have a special happy birthday video for you. Are you ready?
You're going to make me cry again?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And everybody's going to watch it, too.
Let me mute this then, so nobody can hear me crying.
Here we go.
I still can see it, though.
The Petraglia family is a tight-knit group with many relatives and close friends, including today's catcher.
Come on, John, no batter. A little high. Come on, get it down.
Mark Rob catching and Johnny Petraglia pitching. Now, there's a Hall of Fame battery.
I'll bowl for the rest of my life. I won't bowl at the same level. I won't be out there all year, but when I'm 50, I'll bowl in the seniors, and I'll bowl until I can't bowl anymore. I still love to bowl. That'll never change.
Johnny Petraglia is 40 years old. Jesus, what happened to the time, bro? Anyway, I wish you all the best in your 40th year. Actually, your 41st year, to be honest. Have a great day. Happy birthday, and God bless.
JP Jr., I hear you're turning the big 4-0 here. Congratulations, happy birthday. I miss seeing you on the West Coast, and I hope to catch you around someplace. I'm just lounging a little bit here before I go bowl the Forest 5 gamer here in Southern California. Maybe I'll pop off a big one for you tonight. Have a good one, buddy.
Hey Johnny, Andrew Pfeffer here from Bowling with the Pfeff, checking in to wish you a very happy 40th birthday. You know, being over the hill isn't so bad. Take it from someone who's been there for a while. Anyway, hope you make this next year a happy and healthy one, and keep making that great bowling content with the boys. We love to see it.
For the big money. For the big money. Some money right here for $2. You can start? I don't know. He got a head start. Oh, what? Double. On the table. False start. They can't miss.
Hey Johnny, Nick and Amanda here.
We wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Love you, brother.
Love you.
Johnny P. Jr.
Happy birthday!
Yes, sir.
Ready? Happy birthday, Junior. Have a nice day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have Johnny Petraglia Jr. here, and he's going to be giving me a lesson. Now, some of the best bowling I ever did coming right off that pandemic was when I was taking lessons with Johnny. So I do want to say, Johnny, thank you so much for doing this. There's also, so Johnny has a podcast, which I just found out about today, called Straight Up 5. And it's Johnny being raw and uncut, talking about bowling, life, fitness, you said?
Yeah, right? we dive into, we'll typically talk about the most recent PBA show, junior shows, anything that's really going on in the bowling world. A lot of times it does feed into more life lessons, things along those lines, things me and my two buddies are experiencing in life. But in general, it's a very, very informative show. We've got some good guests on there.
JP, happy birthday, my dude. I'm sorry that the better half is not here with me currently, but she would wish you a very happy birthday. Here's to many more, and best wishes as always, my friend. Always great to see you, be on the podcast with you, and man, just go kill it. Happy birthday. Here's to many more, man.
What is that? Oh, no. Oh, my God. You're insane. Thank you. Oh my God. I get to pick?
Pick.
I want this one.
How do you know? Don't you want to play with them first and see?
Not in the slightest. Hi, baby.
Okay, is that the one?
That's the one.
Alright.
Hey John, sad. Just want to say happy birthday, 40 years and it's gone in a blink. I love you, my son.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
What can I possibly say to that? Thank you. It's my favorite highlight reel you've ever done.
Well, I appreciate that.
Like the
worth the length at least.
I actually didn't even give a shit how long it was. No, that was some surprising videos you threw in there, some surprising people that. But I will say this every single year, and I'm sure this happens with everybody, especially in the social media era. It is such a blessing to be able to connect to so many people from all walks of life, people you have seen, haven't seen over the course of all these years. And just going back down memory lane with all those videos, I mean, some of the greatest moments of my life in there, playing baseball on the front lawn with two of the PBA legends, getting the greatest gift I ever got in Evelyn, my little baby girl. And the hysterical going down the lane with the bowling ball. That was actually my last shot of league at Sterling Lanes in Kentucky when I was going to school at Morehead State. Speaking of which, somebody wanted to come in and say hello. Did you hear us talking about you?
There she is.
Want to wish us happy birthday also?
Are you hitting the cutoff man yet?
No, she still hasn't figured out how to hit the cutoff man yet. Anywho, so having said that, Rob, thank you. That was really, really fantastic and awesome.
You're welcome.
It's very, very humbling. What I was trying to get to was it's extremely humbling every single year, the outpour of love, or at least even going out of your way to take 5 seconds out of your day to make somebody feel good. And I think we need a little bit more of that, obviously, especially now with what's going on in the world. So,
yeah,
from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, buddy.
I'm a little mushy, it's beating a little bit faster, so you don't mind if I stutter a little bit.
I do have one more surprise for you.
Cripes!
Cripes!
Are you ready?
What the fuck, man? What are you gonna do now?
Strippers.
Happy birthday, JP!
Kyle Troup, welcome to the show, my friend. What's going on, brother?
Oh, loving it, man. What a great intro. Johnny, you're smooth, man. Smooth striking there, brother.
Dude, some of those videos are like 20 years old, man.
I gathered that a little bit, but hey, once
so great to see you, dude. How you doing? Getting prepped for the season?
Yep. We got heading out tomorrow, doing a couple clinics up in Rhode Island with Rash and a couple guys, and then PBA League. I did see that little intro clip of Simonelli throwing the strike. We're gonna have to, change that after this Elias Cup, maybe.
It's kind of hard for me to root against my dad's team,
Yeah, fair enough.
Can't root against the Oneaters.
Yeah. Which, meanwhile, I watched that movie the other day. I haven't seen that thing you do in forever. Love that movie.
Well, Kyle, thanks for being here, brother. Johnny, I hope that was a good surprise for you, getting Mr. Troup here on the show.
You can certainly say you outdid yourself. This is fantastic. But I will say this, right now, you are getting scolded by me and by Stephanie Sheridan because you didn't reach out for her for the compilation, and we're gonna have to talk about that later.
But he's got fluid in his lungs. Like, poor guy, leave him alone, man.
I feel bad for him too. I really do.
And they found out it wasn't barbecue sauce. That turns out.
So I had saw that Chuck Ritchie had posted something about how bad the Panthers were, and Kyle actually happened to comment on that post. So I messaged Chuck and said, "Chuck, I didn't know you're friends with Kyle Troup. Anyway, you could hook us up with him." And Kyle was absolutely more than gracious and gave me his cell phone number, and it was willing to come on. So that's really cool of you, Kyle.
I thought you were about to talk about the Panthers. I was like, oh, God.
Oh, no, we don't have to. Cause, no.
You can have Deontay Johnson all you want. Good riddance. I'm sorry.
And you know you're safe when it comes to the New Jersey and New York boys because our teams are horrible. I mean, they are goddamn horrible.
Who's worse? Somehow my Patriots won against all odds. So
hey, the Pats are back is what I heard. That's what I seen.
We shall see.
One game. So, yeah, I'll take it. It's at least we're not 0-1. So what's
You're
been going on with you,
Rob?
Kyle?
Come on.
What's been going on with you since the tour ended?
Well, we went to Sweden. That was a fun trip. My fiance got to go overseas for the first time, so that was exciting. I wasn't officially there when Jesper won. We had to get on over to Copenhagen, but to see him win in his home country was awesome. So that's been, that was pretty special. And kind of fitting that, JP, I guess, talks about fitness. I heard in the intro about 6 weeks ago, I started working with a fitness coach. His name is Dave with Underrated Muscle. And it's been, life-changing, honestly. 6 meals a day, weekly check-ins, weekly measurements. I've actually, you can see part of the kitchen here. We got all my stuff getting ready for
meal prep. He's meal prepping.
Hey,
Hell
we're
yeah.
flying with food. I got this cooler insulated bag. I got a little.
You got the one with like the 6 different compartments and everything. You put. Oh hell yeah. This dude is set.
Plug in the
man.
lunchbox. So I'm gonna have my food in the bowling center. Actually flew with filet and chicken to Sweden for the first like 3 or 4 days. So
Coach, he's full time. He's full time.
Yeah, I mean we get one cheat meal a week. There was probably about 3 or 4 in Sweden, but the check-in wasn't bad, and obviously a workout plan, and my body feels great. So that's kind of been a big focus of mine. Like I said, a little bit of a lifestyle change, but this is kind of the first people or whatnot I've really told, minus people asking me, but I want my spot back. So we got to kind of get in the best shape. 2021, I had my best year, and I felt like I was in really good shape there. And then obviously with all this mentally, kind of just improves on its own, being in a process of life, I guess you could say, but really excited for all that.
It certainly becomes addicting if you haven't gotten addicted to it already, which it seems like you have.
Yeah.
It also, actually I have a couple questions here based off that. You've always been in good shape. You're young, you're strong, you're there every single week. I know you said your peak year was 2021. It was actually the biggest year in any career of any professional bowler when you actually look at the numbers. But what was your deciding factor to go for it? Are you trying to, what were you feeling was not there because you're already one of the best, which is
it's kind of crazy how I met him. I met him at the LBC when I was bowling up there, and he came up and introduced me to myself, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm a big fan, and I follow you, and I'd love to work with you sometime." And I kind of blew it off for a little bit, and about 3 weeks later or so, I reached out to him. We had about a 2-hour Zoom call for the first meeting, and I was like, I had a good year, but I just feel like there's things missing. Better shape. Just in general. Just wanting to make a change to see how much better I can be, a better version of myself. I have always kind of stayed in the gym, never really been in too bad a shape, but, really wanted to see what level we could get to, and working with Dave, the sky's the limit. It's exciting, and bowling, I had a good year, like I said, but still a little disappointing at the end. Too many valleys to go along with the peaks. Win a major, flag cut, win a tournament, flag 2 cuts. So just wanting to get into a better process, daily process of life, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Has he tweaked your exercise program? Because obviously people go to the gym, they do the basics, but bowlers are you probably utilizing the most accessory muscles or underused muscles. There's muscles you don't even know about until you pick up a bowling ball.
Yeah, there was definitely some changes. It's still 4 days of lifting, a 5th day of cardio. There is cardio afterwards. And it's not just bowling focused exercises. I've still got, a chest day, chest with tries, back with buys. But it's more of tracking my lifts, and I've got a spreadsheet and whatnot, and just seeing, because I just need a goal. I go in the gym for an hour.
Right. Anybody can go through the motions.
Planet Fitness room for 30 minutes, kind of knock that out. But, now I have a goal every week. I can see all right, 4 weeks ago, I was 20 pounds less, a few less reps. So just all that. Has really kind of helped with it. And, I've kind of have a variety of exercises, but, a lot of isometric lifting, cable weights for me, just because I have such an imbalance, being strong left leg, strong right arm.
Sure.
Do you have any injuries that you're working on? Sorry to keep jumping in,
really.
JP.
No,
All right.
Actually about, week before Sweden, 2 weeks before Sweden, I was doing some overhead triceps with the rope. And it was the last exercise, went a little too hard, and I couldn't really do much with my elbow for a few days. But called him up. Actually got these little stamina patches. Not quite like an icy hot patch, but slapped one of those on. I was thoroughly impressed with that, and it was just a few days setback. But then I just learned hey, all right, you can push it, but in proper form. I
Stay within your limits and do it the right way. But a little tendonitis.
Ocho's got the guns, and I was like, damn, I gotta.
We're bringing
it. Shit, we got JP guns, we got the Ocho guns. So
we've talked about two-handers.
Johnson and Tom O'Leary.
There's no. So what I say is I got my army buddies. I got Louie and Ralphie. But anyways, enough of that. Unless women are watching, we've talked about injuries.
Wait. Hang on 1 second. Remember, I was going to ask a question. And you said sorry. I'm going to forget it again.
All right, go, man. Go. You go. Get in.
So I started training full time about 6 years ago. I've been training for 6 years, and when earlier you mentioned eating 6 meals a day, like I lift to bodybuild. I want to grow. Like my goal is to be 260, honestly. About 235, 240 right now. I want to be 260. But I eat 6 or 7 times a day, pretty much every 2.5 hours. But my bowling game suffers immensely. Like I stink at bowling now, dude. I cannot get my swing under me because honestly, my wings are too wide. I can't reroute my swing. It sounds like you're eating like a bodybuilder would eat. Usually 6 meals, if you divide up the macros, means you're consuming a reasonable amount of calories, a reasonable amount of protein. I'm assuming you base it off your carbs, your fats, and your proteins per meal, what you're doing. If you're eating that much a day and you're it sounds like pretty like high intensity training when you are in the gym with the cool down, with the cardio, what is your goal?
That was just the discussion that I had with Dave. And, I started out, I believe I weighed in at like 184, which was actually about 10 pounds less than I thought. Cause I did step on a scale in like, April, May towards the end of tour, which was a big chill tour. We kind of just slipped out of the gym for the last like month and a half. So the first month was, a cleanse, pretty much, wanting to flush out. Weighed in last week at 171, which I don't really want to go any lower than that. So, we lost 10 or 11 pounds over the first 6 weeks. And pretty much after Portland, our goal is to get back to 185. Obviously we're going to be adding in a little more protein. I've just bumped up my meat from 6 to 8 ounces for my 2 big meals. But I'm really not trying to get super buff. In 2021, I was working out a lot. That was kind of when I first started it. And I started lifting too heavy, and I was putting on some size, but, then I had the hand injury and, my forearm, I messed up my ulnar nerve, the medial nerve. So then I kind of just chilled for a year and a half doing here and there things at the gym. But, now I just want to be fit, obviously going to put on some muscle here in the next couple months in the off season, but, and the lifts will probably increase a little bit more, but, we're still going to keep it in a realm. There is no goal of, wanting to bodybuild or, doing shows, nothing like that. But just want
the goal is to win bowling tournaments. Really, let's be honest. That's the goal. But it's I know what he's saying too.
Damn right.
And even after practice today, because I haven't bowled since Sweden, and we were running and gunning all day, but my body just feels great. The legs are the most important thing in bowling, and the crazy thing, I do legs. And I'm barely even sore, and I guess it's just the recovery of, because he was like, do you take multivitamins or fish oil or anything? I'm like, nope, never have. He's like, what are you doing? So just all this stuff, it's really just opened my eyes to what proper recovery, proper nutrition, and proper training can really do for your body. And really excited to see what shape I'm in and come 2025. But right now we're just kind of keeping the head down, keep working. I haven't really made any post about it, kind of do my work in the dark.
So we've talked a lot about injuries. What's that? Go ahead.
Ed.
We've talked about injuries and.
All right, hold on. You be
for anybody that's ever been on any kind of a fitness journey, it's an extremely respectful thing, and we wish you nothing but the best for your own goals. And obviously, you always seem to do the right thing. It's why you're so successful, not only in bowling, but in life. So kudos to you on that. And now they're even more dead than they were to begin with. So,
Hell
Go
yeah,
ahead,
dude.
Och.
All right, Och.
Sorry to interrupt you twice on my
We've discussed a lot of bowling injuries, with so many guests we've had, the one-handers, and we had Belmo on, and I'm talking, and I'm like, I'm sure you have the tweaks here and there, but we don't have any true longevity of the two-handed bowler. We don't know how it stacks up year after year of that repetitive motion, and mechanically, you're using your bigger muscles, so it's almost the way I'm looking at it, it's a safer way to do it for one. How have your injuries been as far as, we're going into a realm we don't know about. We know what happens with the one-handers over time, the elbow, the wrist, but the knee, especially from driving sometimes. Where are you? And if something you don't want to talk about, I'm okay with it, but you guys are the specimen. You guys are patient zero right now.
Yeah, 2015, I had my sciatica injury back then, but I never stretched. I never seen a gym. I was super skinny. I was 25. Like, hey, I don't need to learn or worry about any of this. And had my hand injury. But other than that, that's really been about the only two injuries I've battled in my career. I'm a firm believer in flexibility. I believe that, and then proper nutrition, a little bit of working out, but the biggest thing I feel like is flexibility for bowlers as they get older. Obviously, I haven't had a soda in 6-7 weeks. Sweet tea is pretty much gone. I got my green tea bags ready to go. And obviously just a lot of water. But I feel like just doing this, stretching. I tell people all the time. Anthony Simonson, one of my good boys. I tell him, I'm like, man, you got to start stretching. Like people had this talk with me when I was 25. And I kind of blew it off, and I had a big injury, and just some of the younger kids out on tour. I say younger, I'm only 33, but these kids 27, 28, 30 years old. I'm gonna spread that knowledge along because I feel like that alone and can really extend your career. I feel like another example would be Sean Rash. I feel like unfortunately for Rash, he is a good buddy of mine, that he didn't start this early enough, and he's battled a lot of these tough injuries. And now, the man can put his hands on the floor flat, like super flexible, stretching in the airport all the time. But unfortunately, I feel like he's kind of catching up or just trying to maintain right now, because when he was younger, he didn't really quite focus on all these things.
And Belmo's what, 40 now, 41? He's been able to survive so far without being injured, as far as we know. So I guess it's only a test of time. We'll see how long it lasts. If you guys,
Walter's out there still ripping it up two-handed. Like, come on, there's your long.
There's your guinea pig for it.
That's a good point. No, that's a very good point.
Honestly, compared to when I look at the two-handers, Kyle, your game it's very neat.
It's relaxed almost.
There's not a lot of movement. And Ocho always talks about how bowling is an asymmetrical sport, and the two-handers kind of make it a little bit less asymmetrical. But your game is so compact and gentle.
True.
It's, I don't know. I don't foresee you having any injuries other than a standard traditional bowling injury with the way that you throw. You're already ahead of the game.
I've been told growing up, people say I look one-handed in a sense.
Yeah.
I was people say I look one-handed growing up, and maybe that's probably from watching Guppy, but I don't see that, but I've been told that many times.
It looks effortless, and like almost I liken it to a Mariano fastball. Like he has a very deliberate windup, not a lot of moving parts, and the ball just explodes. And it looks like you don't really do much, but the ball explodes off your hand, and it's a wild thing to watch, because a lot of times people do have to rip on it, and we don't see you. I'm on TV, of course. I have a small sample, but again, that means more miles for you down the road,
Well, we had Bakes on the show. Baker said, Kyle was one of the strongest guys he's ever seen throw a ball. So,
all right, appreciate it.
That's high praise.
All right,
and that's literally what he said. So, I don't know if that's true. That's cool, but that's just something he observed from your game. He said Kyle is super strong. So, and it just makes it look effortless. I think that's kind of how it works. But yeah, he had nothing but high praise for you.
Kyle, here's a question.
Good segue,
for you.
Rob.
You've always been good at everything, but it seems like you've really, really gotten good at getting in and kind of slow wheeling it. Whereas when I remember younger you, or, not as veteranized you, it was bang, it was darts, it was
the black hammer of the G, baby.
Right. Shit, I even remember some videos of you throwing that great tank, for Christ's sake. But yeah, I used to
winner with the Rebel tank on TV.
There you go. There you go. That was in Oklahoma, right? Or no?
Yeah, 2015,
Yeah,
Shawnee.
Yeah. I still got it. Where the fuck was I going with this? Oh yeah. So
I know
did you
interrupted you too. Fuck.
No, it's good. Am I crazy in saying that you have become one of the best at playing deep and slow wheeling it, and been good at that, and I just not seen it, or do you really, really work hard on it, or is it just you're doing what the lane is telling you to do?
Well, I would say, I was not very good at it. I mean, growing up, I didn't throw a resin ball till I was 13. I grew up using Guppy's green white dot. So that was just ripping it up 10. So that's where, and growing up watching Guppy bowl, I mean, he never played 15 to 10, more or less any more angle than that. So, kind of learned the straight side. But, I would say 2019, I had to really start learning about speed control because, I did win a title in 2015. I won the doubles with Jesper in 2017, but there was a lot of bad weeks where, 22 off the hand isn't going to get it done. And, signing with Storm at the end of 2018, just starting to get to work with the reps. And, Tim Mack was probably one of the biggest influences for me, really helping with the speed control and just knowing that, when you play too far right, it can be great. Another prime example is my boy Nate Garcia. He's so good at playing hard and straight, and there's always a line that he can have on the fresh. But sometimes, especially on the national tour, as much as the lanes transition, you can be several moves behind the pattern. Then at that point, you trick it from the right off the gutter or up 5 for 2 games, and then you go to move in. Well, that's where everybody else kind of started. And then you've got to make 2 more zones. You've got to drop your speed 3 gears down. So honestly, I need to work on throwing it a little bit harder now because,
interesting.
I would rather start where most of the people start. Obviously, I kind of hate it, but PBA patterns, they all play the same. So if it's under 40 feet, we're going to throw the urethane between 10 and 5. You may have to throw it a little more to the right. You may have to roll it a little bit more. And then we just move in and hook it. And then long patterns, you definitely want to be on the left side of the track because all tracks in the bowling centers are going to hook. So, it was kind of just a, I guess, product of the environment and, a big work of speed control. The lesson I had in 2020 with Sean Ryan at the end of the season, he really opened my eyes to physical game. And, obviously 2021 was my best season. And, I keep in touch with him from time to time now and everybody on the team. But, that was the biggest change. And, I've won more, I've won more, but, I think the majors is where it really shows, being able to keep up with, these other guys for 40, 48 games. Whereas, before, I could strike on the fresh and, we have a thing with the Storms team, we just have the averages of like our game 1 averages versus game 6 averages. Yeah. I was leading the staff 2 or 3 years ago on the fresh and, games 6, 7, 8, not so good. That thing's kind of changed now a little bit. So, obviously I feel like for me, I've got to work on actually using a little bit straighter angles. Now that I've gotten so accustomed to slower ball speed, hooking it more because they're still kind of flat in the middle of the lane sometimes. So, need to have that speed like Simo.
Yeah, for sure. Del Picard wants to know, do you think the PBA can do a better job on the patterns so that they will play different? What could they do to kind of make it more even?
I've had, that's the great thing about, not Neil Strimmel, but our lane man, I've had some conversations with him and, I'm like, hey, like, can we make them different? Like, to me, different would be like, flood the gutter, like make it to where like you can't play outside of 10. Like, now, yes, that may produce lower scores, but we're going to have, it's always a challenge, regardless. We're bowling against the best bowlers in the world. But, I just told him, I was like, it'd be great to walk in and, not be able to throw 5 shots and kind of know like, all right, here's kind of the part of the lane I can play. I will say the pattern that we bowled on in Sweden, they put a second strip, I guess 2 to 2s in the pattern. You know, it was the graph, and then it had like 2 bars just straight across it. Added a second speed bump. That was different. Yes, urethane still looked pretty good on the fresh, but other than that, I mean, out of all the bowling balls I brought, none of them hooked early enough. I mean, I felt, and I drilled the Ion Max, and I had the front 10 with it the first game I used it. So, that was something different. Just some different design in the patterns. Hopefully, obviously we don't really get to hear about that, but I'm hoping for just a little more variety moving forward. Because then who knows? Maybe we get some different guys on TV. Which I guess that kind of goes into the subject of, is that what we want, or do we want our stars on TV every week? But
right.
I just want to see something a little different. Even though I've had success, I'm winning, competing out there. But and I feel like I speak for a lot of the guys. Like, let's just change them up a little bit.
Well, we did see some new stars this year, like Boog. I mean, Boog isn't new, but I mean he came out of the PTQs this year. D-Ron Booker, Eric Jones.
Eric Jones is a killer.
Yes,
killer.
He is. So I mean, it was good to see some of the underdogs, make TV, because it does tell for good story, especially if the broadcasters tell the story the right way. But again, you're right. You do also want to see guys like you and Simo and EJ and Belmo and the top stars on the tour as well. People that are you're accustomed to seeing on TV. But one thing I noticed this year is, especially on TV, there was a lot of yours. What's that?
It's not even so much what they're accustomed. It's not even so much what they're accustomed to. It's the PBA needs more Kyles. The PBA needs more people that play to the crowd, that feed off the emotion, that are exciting. The 90% of the crowd, 95% of every single crowd is rooting for Kyle. 95% of every single crowd is either rooting for Pete or begging that Pete loses. They either love him or they hate him.
But they're involved.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we need more people that when they get the opportunity, you're on TV, dude. You work all week. These guys are out there working all week long, however many games, 40 games, competing against the best in the world, all the time, all the hours, and then they get maybe one match on television, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's the reward almost.
To show the world what you've got. So as if that's not enough pressure enough, but to be able to go out there and do it and say, shit, you know what? I've got 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. If I win all 4 of the matches, I got a 2-hour time slot. It's, I think, important. I'm not saying everybody has to have Kyle's personality in particular, but truth be told, as big of a killer as Eric Jones is and how good of a player he is, or somebody like a Sam Cool, I don't necessarily want to watch them over watching Kyle. To me, there needs to be a little bit of sustenance behind it to grow the attraction a little bit more in said respect. And it's proven.
Like be the guy that bowls against Kyle. Then that's all.
That's fair. But when you see Boog run through a murderer's row to win the PBA playoffs, I mean that's a great story as well. So I mean, I still think you need to have a balance, right? I mean, what do you think, Kyle?
To speak on that, because I can recall, I believe it was the year that Bolero bought the PBA, and Marshall Holman, when we went over to Fox from ESPN, we had a players meeting. Marshall Holman was there, and he spoke on this, about entertaining and trying to play to the crowd, because those are the people that support us. And I see both sides of it. Obviously, I grew up with one of the best entertainers in my father, Kyle Troup, who I did see somebody was asking earlier. He's doing great. He's probably chilling on the couch right now in Taylorsville. But, so it just came second nature to me. I wanted to be like my dad, and he was an absolute entertainer. He always said his first goal was to entertain, and then it was to bowl well. And I would definitely like to see that as well. The only thing is, and I always kind of say this, is I can't fault these guys. They're fighting for the food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we bowl for good money, but you also don't get that opportunity very much to make the top 5 and make a TV show. So if you're quiet and serious and you get the job done, I can't fault you for it. I respect you for that. But I do say it is coming. Some more guys are learning. Packy is a big fan favorite. I heard at Junior Gold, it was a crazy show. Like when they had the big introduction, 4,000 or 5,000 kids, and Prather and Packy had to go up on stage and say a few words. And Prather was like, dude, the whole stadium was just packy, and it was, so he's,
That's cool.
He's learning. A few other guys I feel like are learning, but I can't fault him. Do I want to see it? Absolutely. And more
But when
fans,
people don't have it in them, though, then it's awkward too. Then it's forced. Like you don't want to see, a guy who doesn't have it trying to do anything, because then it almost looks, almost insulting. Like, come on, man! I know you're not like that. Just, and that's could be the antagonist to the entertainer too.
You're totally right. And even somebody like Prather gets pumped here and there, and that's awesome to watch.
Yeah,
it really, really is. I like even just a little bit, one little fist pump. Like I'd like to see Sam Cooley give like a little one of those once in a while, and even that would be enough for me when I watch Sam Cooley. I don't know about the general public, but yes, I totally understand. And honestly, the more even keeled you can be out there, it seems to be, especially nowadays with the talent level that's out there, how good everybody is.
That's the other thing is tough. You peak and then you come back down. The excitement level, and that's why I don't hardly ever celebrate in between frames. I always do my celebrations when I get to sit down for 2 frames.
Oh shit! I gotta pay attention to that.
That's
very
a good point.
rarely am I running around slapping with the crowd, and that because we also got a shot clock, and that's my process. But and it's never planned. It just kind of comes out. Obviously, in Bayside or up at Angel of the Winds Casino in Seattle, when we've had quarterfinals there a few times. The liver the crowd, the more it's going to come. So, I think that could be something. And, they have Mike J and, the hype guys or whatnot at the show. So, hopefully that can improve a little bit there and, just try and get the fans, more excited.
Well, let me ask about this.
Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Sorry, Ocho. When Packy and Kevin bowled each other and they just wanted the crowd to be loud the entire time, a lot of people were traditionalists were turned off by that. Where would you stand on that?
I mean, I guess there's traditionalists in every game. At the end of the day, it's still bowling. The high score, 300. They're bowling strikes, spares, or opens. So
high score wins.
I feel like we all have to evolve in a sense. Like, we are sports entertainment at the end of the day. Like, if we could be more entertaining on TV, we're probably going to get more sponsors and bowl for more money. And then, if we're out there bowling for $1 million and we're all making $500,000 every year for the top 15, then guys are probably going to be a little more chill on TV. They know that, all right, I'm guaranteed 100 racks if I finish 5th. Hell yeah. Let's go.
That's still a win.
For sure. So I feel like it'll all come together, hopefully.
I saw one of the coolest commercials maybe like 10 years ago, and it was a golf commercial, but it relates to bowling too. And maybe I'm a traditionalist unintentionally. And it said the one thing that's more intense than 300,000 screaming fans, and they show a putt rolling slow motion in is 300,000 quiet fans, and then the putt drops and the place erupts. And it's the same with bowling, where you can hear a pin drop. You throw a freaking your 10th or your turkey in the tent to win by 1, and the roof pops off the place. And that's the theater already writes. It's already there. It's so freaking intense. But to keep the heart rate down during that, you kick it just 1 mile per hour more, and you're washing out maybe. That's what I think is the coolest part too. But I get people want noise, people want the fanfare. But I just feel like for me, maybe I am a traditionalist. I don't know. Little food for thought.
I agree with that as well. I agree with both sides, unfortunately.
So again, like you said, high score wins, regardless of what happens.
I know this was talked about a lot, and I never got a chance to ask it, obviously. So the spot with the book, when you were reading the book during the TV show.
Oh, did you catch shit for that or what?
So many people got pissed off over that, and I don't understand why, but from your point of view, and I haven't seen any interviews if you've talked about it, but what was the deal with that particular situation?
Honestly, this year was by far the toughest year for me mentally. The U.S. Open, I remember making the cashers round and was heading to the bowl, and actually, I just kind of sat back and looked, and I'm like, my mental game's got to be better. And honestly, I text Bree and was like, hey, can you pick me up a Sudoku book? And I literally did Sudoku for 24 games of match play. I didn't look at nothing. I literally, sat down, did my Sudoku, went up, bowled my 2 frames in the match play. And then I go to the next week in Springfield. and have a full-blown panic attack while I'm bowling. He asked Packy about this. Like, it was probably the third game of qualifying. And I mean, I broke down. I was crying. Like, I don't know. I couldn't handle it. Like, I had like 180, 170, and it was just all the inner thoughts, the inner demons, I mean, it was a rough time. And, so we were still battling. I mean, that was kind of like my Band-Aid for the week. I mean, honestly, my Band-Aid was the Sudoku book at the U.S. Open. And I was able to, just shut the brain off completely and let, my talent and ability take over. And then at the, in Anderson, because obviously after Springfield, talking with Jim Callahan, one of our tour reps, and he was like, I'm gonna get you this book. And the crazy thing is, he's given me that book before, and I, read 15, 20 pages because I don't read, never have before then. And I just started reading it throughout the tournament, and that was my Band-Aid for that week. And after like the first round of qualifying, and it, I guess both times it's been fairly simple. Like that week was urethane to IQ tours, urethane to IQ tours. And it was like 6-game blocks. We bowled a bunch of those. And after like the second round of qualifying, all I kept saying to the reps, I'm like, I'm just ready to read my book. I just want to read my book.
Yeah.
And, it just became a mental thing for me and was able to block it out. And I was definitely going to read the book on TV. Yeah, I didn't care. Like, I wasn't doing it for show.
That's what got you there.
I feel like I probably made that author some money because I definitely got tagged a ton of people buying that book. But, and then, so I read the book. I finished it. I think I had like one page left, honestly, when the title match finished. And I got a Deion Sanders book and, started to read that at the World Series. Ended up bowling myself out of the World Championship. I could be mixing this up with the TSC, not quite sure. And, I tried to read it, couldn't quite do it that week. And it was like, all right. And then honestly, was pretty disappointed in my mental performance again. And I gave the book back to Callahan. And I was like, I don't deserve to read this right now. Because it was, I kind of sent it in, if I'm being honest. The last couple games, kind of sent it in. I was ready for the couple weeks off, to try and refresh for the playoffs. So actually, that was the TSC that I'm talking about. That was my Band-Aid for the year. And it was very, very tough spot mentally, but we've luckily been able to learn from it. And, haven't read any more books since, but, I don't really care if I catch crap for it. Like you said, it got me here, and hey, I'm trying to do anything I can because I know I can make the shot. I know I can compete, but I'll be damned. I can also just bury myself way out of the cut, because of this thing right here.
And that's the shit that they don't see. I mean, you guys are magically on our television every week or, for a handful of weeks a year. And we see you a lot and we go, wow, he bowled well again. And they don't see the freaking, like you said, all the 40 games, the 50 games, the training now and all the mental conditioning you have to do. Again, they say the toughest lane is the 6 inches sometimes right here. Hey, do books 100%. On tape. You could sit there with books on tape with the headphones on or something like that. Maybe we're onto something here. Well, but no, seriously, but that's the part they don't see, whether it's good or bad. I mean, I don't know. People want you to be seen having a meltdown where your brain is synapsing in all different directions, but to bring it back together is even already a triumphant story. You know what I mean? Like you already won just by getting back to square.
And thanks for being so honest about that, Kyle, because it's a tough thing to talk
listen
about.
To what he said for all of our viewers there, because we're talking to one of the greatest players in the world, and he's talking about mental issues and how to
exactly, and that he's struggling.
It's such a humbling. It's got to be humbling for everybody listening just to hear you say that. That's actually like one of the biggest takeaways I think from the entire show today is that everybody, whatever you're experiencing, everybody goes through it. The ones who figure out a way to handle it, harness it, and control it are the ones that can get through it. And,
that's why amateurs shouldn't kick friggin' ball returns because you're not that good to get pissed. Kyle's good enough to get pissed.
Yeah, but I still better not kick no ball return.
No, nobody should. I mean, ball return didn't do anything to anybody.
Yeah, I would never throw my putter into the green for missing a 6-footer. I would never do that anyway because I'm not a piece of shit. But I would never, ever get mad about missing a 6-footer because, I shoot 80 on the golf course. I don't shoot 65 on the golf course. I'm not going to get mad at it. It's the same way about kicking the ball return. I'm not going to, it's stupid. But yeah, I thought it was. I think. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kyle.
It's humanizing, man. Very humanizing. to see.
Exactly. That's the word. Thank you.
You know, we're always working, you know, in many different aspects. And, you know, I went through a bunch of life changes, you know, bought a house, moved to Kentucky in September, you know, living here with Brianna, Caleb, and Aubrey, you know, and I was gone from them for 4 or 5 months. And did I feel like it affected me? No. Like, you know, I got to see them from time to time, but then when I got to step back at the end of the season and really digest it, yeah, you know, I feel like that was, and I did good. I won a major. I won another title, you know, made a run at the playoffs. But, you know, I realized it. You know, you have to point out the issue, and you have to have figure out the problem to figure out the solution, and you know, it's all about working through. You know, gotta keep working whichever aspect that you need.
I mean, that's enough to set somebody off with their career. Like, that's literally enough to spiral somebody downward. That guy named Craig Pertz wins the freaking TPC at Sawgrass in like 2002, I want to say, and his game went to shit right after that. All mental. Never heard from him since, really. So
and Butters, Butters was on here a few weeks ago, really saying the same thing. Like, he had a tough time this year mentally. You know, after he got done with his injuries, he still had a lot of issues with with his mental game and all that. So it's
I mean, it's a grind, man. I mean, you know, we're out there on the road for 2.5 months at a time. You know, we're competing. You know, grinding. You know, I say grinded as in, you know, we cover our expenses, you know, our entry fees and hotels, food, and, you know, whatever it may be. And, you know, for some, some may not be as blessed as others with, you know, possibly contracts or just earnings on the tour. And you know, and then obviously you don't know what's going on back home for anybody, you know, and that's why, you know, Butters is a good friend of mine. We've talked a few different times throughout the season. And, you know, that's why I do have to say, you know, love the PBA Tour, because a lot of us, you know, we respect each other because we're all out there grinding, doing the same thing. Hey, no, sir. Dog's trying to eat my meal prep. I'm about to bust his ass.
Uh-oh.
Get over here.
That's 40 grams of protein measured out to the freaking minuscule.
Snap the lids on this real quick. I was letting
Meanwhile, this is what my dog does for the entire show.
Uh-oh, Mama's going to get you.
And rips and rips and rips.
He was trying, yeah. I was wondering why he was just sitting over there in the kitchen forever.
But I mean,
right now.
Yeah, Nate Garcia was on last week with Elise, and he mentioned, you know, only bowling select tournaments next season because it is such a grind for him, who's not exempt and has to go through the PTQs every week, and it's such a grind that he'd rather go home and bowl weekend
now.
He'd rather bowl weekend tournaments in Florida and make more money.
And he kills that shit. Like, I mean, Nate's another good buddy of mine. I mean, every week popping off first or second, 800, 300, you know, and love him to death. You know, definitely hope to see him out on the tour some. You know, he's right there too. You know,
he's been knocking a long time. It's coming.
It's just, you know, like I said when I spoke on it earlier, I feel like it's, you know, just that transition from the firm to the slow, and you know, he can do it. I mean, I see him slow shaping it, slow wheeling it at regionals or some of these other tournaments. And, you know, it just, once you learn that little piece for the national tour, then, you know, the sky's the limit. So, you know, he'll be there.
It's so wild to me as a full-blown amateur house bowler, big red wiffle bat, which Rob will explain what that means any second, how close, like, the number 1 bowler is to, like, the number 50 bowler. You know what I mean? Like, they're minuscule apart. Like, they're just... And that's how good you guys are. It's that simple, and that's why I feel like this needs to be put out there more. The humanizing factor plus the grind and all this. Like, it's, again, you're not rock stars, and I'm not taking a shot at you. What I'm saying, Belmo said we bowl because he's like we do okay. Only the top guys, but we bowl because we love it, and that's pretty much it. You're not garnished with luxuries and cars and whatnot, so it's already. I feel like the story is right there, and these are the things that people should know about to almost rise you guys up even more. I think.
I agree.
I ain't shining ass either. This is like just amateur to professional, I guess.
No, that should be told on TV how much of a grind it is, you know, and we can watch bowl TV and see it, but I think when the casual fan is watching Fox, they should know about that. They should know how hard it is. And obviously, you're not bowling as many games as they did back in the 80s and 90s, but it still is a grind, right? And a lot of guys are out there, like you said,
less opportunity to make the money too, because the tournaments aren't as many either. You know, I mean, it's you're cutting the tournaments by a third, and you know, that's just food on their table. This is their family's money. You know.
Well, Kyle, you mentioned that you got to go here. It's 9 o'clock. I know you got to fly out earlier. You good on?
Yep, got another question. I can hang out for another 15 or so.
Okay, cool, Johnny. I'm sure you got something.
I was going to say, this is kind of going back, like just to kind of snowball off what you were just saying there, Och. You're talking about the less tournaments throughout the year. The other thing about it is, Kyle, first off, this is a two-part question, plain and simple. Do you feel that no matter what they call the pattern, basically you're kind of somewhere in the same general zone or trying to get it the same general spot in some way, shape, or form? Like there's what I guess I'm trying to get at here is I'm going to use the left as an example here. Lefties, you know as well as anybody, we're going to have weeks where we absolutely demolish you, and we're going to have weeks where we're not in sight.
Yeah,
exactly right. Does that happen with you guys on the right as much, where it's like, well, shit, I've only got 12 tournaments to bowl. I hope I have a look on 6 of them. Do you find that because there's more right-handers, more transition, that doesn't happen quite as much as, say, it would on the left? Whereas, like, you know, at the start of a tournament, if you're not going to beat a lefty, you know that from the first couple shots in practice,
right?
And there's unfortunately nothing that can be done about it.
I feel like, just having the amount of bowlers on our side of the lane, they may not be great. There is weeks, like you said, where, the left is better than the right. But, in 2 games, especially when you slap in all the urethane balls going down the lane, then you might as well, you can call the pattern whatever you want. After 2 games of urethane going down the lane, it doesn't really matter what it started out as, because it's not even close to that now. So I feel like with the amount of bowlers we have and the transition we go through, it can become something. Now, those weeks where the left is good and the right isn't very good, I mean, you got to be on your A game. I mean, like EJ, when he won the world championship, I mean, they were tough, and like later in those blocks, it's a lot easier for the lefty to bowl 250 than it is the righty to bowl 250 with the transition that we're battling. But, I guess that kind of answered your question. And back to the first part about, do I feel like kind of all the patterns play the same, or we're throwing it to the same spot? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I did speak on that a little bit before, but, it also goes back to the just old school rule of 31. Like 35 feet, take 31. Where are we going to be throwing it at down the lane? 4. All right, 45 minus 31, 14. And I always say give or take 2 on each side of it. If you got some ball motion, if you got some power and you have some speed control, give or take 2 on each side. But regardless, you can go back and just look. And I keep that in mind when I'm bowling. No, I'm not trying to throw it to 31 less than the pattern length. But I'll be damned if it's not there 9 times out of 10 within 2 boards of it. So I just kind of keep it simple. And, that part, like I spoke on, kind of frustrates me. But then at the end of the day, I guess, that rule is pretty strong. I don't hear it talked about very often, but, very rarely are we bowling on 47 feet and everybody's playing 5. Yeah, you may be able to strike from 5 for a game or 2, but tell me where 70% of the field is playing come games 5 through 8. Breakpoint's going to be 15 and left.
And when there is a situation like, say, when Norm Duke ran the ladder at the Shark Championship in like somewhere in the 20 teens, he was throwing a Spitfire, and he said he's playing out on an HPL or an SPL AMF surface, and nobody was anywhere near that being Shark, and he just mowed him over on the television show. They talk about that because it's not supposed to happen based off the rule of 31 and basically what you're saying. So when it does happen, it's like, holy shit, this guy's not only
he's good,
he's pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, Simonson's done it too. In Lucy 2 years ago when everybody's lofting the left gutter, and what's he do? Just moves back right and pumps it up 7, 8, 9. With the same ball that he was lofting the left gutter with, or obviously the backup's a whole different story. But I mean, when you see somebody doing, I mean, I guess it goes back to when Walter was popping them. I didn't watch a ton of bowling back then when, he was just playing up the gutter all the time. I guess Cagle didn't really oil the first 2 boards, and, he could just get his hand to do the right thing. Hey, if that's there and he's got the trick, then you got to respect the trick and the talent.
And he's got eagle eyes and perfect hand-eye coordination. That
Unbelievable.
It's stupid. Yeah. Well, then you look at Jesper, who just has to throw urethane everywhere because just how many revs he has. But like, should he start learning maybe some hand tricks or slow it down and maybe try to play something different, or is that just his game?
Kind of upsets me. I feel like people discredit Jesper a lot. Even the comment there, like, does he need to start learning how to throw resin? He's thrown resin on TV, I think, more than he did urethane this year when he made the show. He didn't make many shows, but I mean, that man's been bowling. He's learned speed control because, the hardness rule, it definitely affected the Storm family, the Brunswick family. The urethanes, I would say aren't quite as good as the previous ones. And, you got to learn even more tricks, loft in the front, slowing his speed down. Yes, he does still use a lot of urethane because, like you said, he has 580 RPMs. But, I've seen it. I mean, he bowled 300 with the Idol at the U.S. Open on the long pattern. Like, he made a run on the long pattern, with resin. Like, he uses resin a lot, but he doesn't make the shows. Right. And then when he does make the show, I mean, yeah, he's probably going to choose the urethane. Like, I can definitely think, I believe it was the playoffs where he just 9, and ended up barely losing. Well, never mind, because beat me. So whatever other tournament it was, he probably should have used resin, but can you fault him? Because, I mean, he's literally just 0.2 speed less or just a little more rev rate or whatever it is to carry him one of those hits. Yeah. And with that power, so he does need to learn it, but he has learned it. He's I mean, hell, I've got 21 of his bowling balls in my garage right now. And I mean, yeah, he's got a few urethanes, but I mean, he's learned a lot, and that's, rooming with me the last couple years. And, I'm learning a lot more about 2LS and, just talking to the guys at the plant a little bit more, trying to learn more about the equipment. He's kind of funneling off that as well. But with that much rev rate, that little amount of transition on that side of the lane, yeah, I mean, all right, he doesn't need to use it that much. And I mean, hell, if there was a second urethane ball, like if we had kind of like when we had the pitch black and the fast pitch, if we had the red IQ and the blue IQ or whatnot, he probably wouldn't need it very much at all either, but right now, with the rule change and everything, he's done a lot of work with that. And I think people will continue to see him using more and more resin as it comes.
Good. Thanks for clearing it up because,
Butters said the same thing in one of our previous shows about this year also. And truth be told, I mean, it's not just Jesper. I mean, pretty much if you turn on a bowling show in the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of people throw urethane, but most of the lefties are throwing urethane. And so very simply stated, I mean, with my experience with urethane, it softens the lane. It makes the pattern not as volatile. I mean, it takes away, your nosedive 6 count. It takes away the
risk is lower. The reward may not be as high, but
right. But it's a lot easier to make a 9 spare than it is a 7 spare. So that's definitely no fault of anybody's. But yeah, I've always kind of thought that Jesper was a little bit different than most lefties. Even way back when he won the TSC as the youngest ever to win that one, his ball just goes through the pins differently. But Butters was making mention of wanting to throw a little bit more or having to throw a little bit more resin this year. And it's very, very obvious that the difference in the hardness, like you said, Kyle, is certainly dictating a little bit of that. Whereas, now it becomes all of a sudden it's the flat 7, but the minimal move turns into a 6-pin. So now it's like, oh shit, do I have to get out of this zone because I'm not going to make a TV show bowling 190 even though I'm hitting the hole every single time. And not to mention, I mean, I'm a thumbless lefty. I never, ever, ever want to throw urethane. I either want to throw resin and wheel the lane or give me a T-zone and put me in. That's where I want. I don't want to throw urethane ever. And I feel like a lot of lefties are the same way. They don't want to throw urethane. So anyway, I did have one more question for you, Kyle, and then I will let you go. And thanks for the extra 15 minutes.
Of course, brother.
Everybody knows Storm is just, I mean, I'm a Brunswick guy, but I've always loved Storm. I've always loved all of their products. the Ion Max is my vote for sexiest looking ball of the year.
That ball looks nice. Yeah, she's pretty.
That's not it's almost as beautiful as Evelyn, but won't go that far. But do you have like a 1-2-3 punch? It's like, Kyle, you are going to let's just pick a random. I don't know, a random. You're bowling a random event in Nashville, Tennessee. You can only bring 3 bowling balls and your spare ball. You don't know anything about the pattern, the building, no nothing. There's no additional information. What are the 3 balls that you feel the safest with?
Number one, obviously, I still have to go with phase 2 as far as a symmetric solid. When you present that to me, if I get 3 balls, I kind of think about the type of ball and then think about, what is the best in that category. So for me, I'm still a huge fan of phase 2, but the Optimum Idol kind of fits that category. But, I'm going to go with phase 2 for the comfortability. Excel, I've been super impressed with as far as a bigger ASIM. Kind of reminds me of Alpha Crux in a little bit of a sense. And my third one would have to be the Vibo, the Virtual Energy Blackout, an ASIM Pearl. So kind of the Excel and the Vibo, and then I have a phase 2 that, can be smooth, can be quick. Kind of a tough question. I know the phase 2's been out forever. If I had to change it, I guess Ion Pro, would be the third piece. But if I only had 3 balls, I would be a little hesitant that one would be a little clean, But then if I'm having the Excel with me, then I feel like those two would combat one another very well. I know I just fired off like 6 balls there, but
plug them in, man. No, that's
drilled a couple balls this week, and a lot of great shapes coming out. But there's probably gonna be the most new balls that I take to the PBA League as far as like least amount of games on them. Harsh Pearl, the new Optimum Idol Pearl, phase 2, Summit Ascent, and I drilled another Attention Star. I don't personally like that ball. It hasn't matched up for me. I always throw Virtual Energy Blackout, but I told myself, I'm like, I got to try another one because everybody uses that ball.
Nate loves his. He talked about last
week. He loves it. Simo loves it. That ball's unbelievable. I just haven't been able to match up with it. But, another conversation with Rob Gottschall and I feel like I kind of, as I'm learning the 2LS system a little bit more and what to tweak, what numbers, a little excited with this one that I drilled, and I think it's going to get some play up in Portland.
Johnny always likes to ask this question as well. What is your favorite bowling ball of all time?
Favorite ball of all time? It's boring, but I guess I kind of already used it. Phase 2, and it's just it's been the staple in my bag. I know a lot of people mention IQ Tour if we're talking about some of the storm balls, but for me, phase 2 has just proven successful for many years. I believe it's been out, probably 7 years now, if I had to guess. But, very rarely do I go somewhere without one. A symmetric, solid benchmark ball, it's hard to go wrong with that.
It's so crazy how good that ball is. And everybody, both sides of the lane, thumb in, thumb out, 2 hands, 1 hand, everybody loves the phase 2. And ironically, I feel like you're the only person I've ever seen throw another phase on television. Well, I definitely saw, I think Fagan threw the original phase, the gumball in the world.
Phase 5 is baby girl, man. Don't get me started on her. Phase 5.
But I never see any phase 3s, any phase 4s anywhere. Phase 5 is definitely good, but the phase 2 is just like in a world all by itself, that ball. But Rob, do you have anything else for my wonderful, wonderful birthday gift who you so graciously brought on tonight?
No, we'll definitely try to have you on again later on, after the leagues, and all that, and before the end of the year.
We could do a league recap or something. Yeah, for sure.
But no, I'm good. I know you got to get up at 3:30 for your flights, so I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking with us.
And honestly, Kyle's on pretty much every single show that we have anyway, since like episode 50.
Yeah, literally, he's bad hair. I got a summer cut, had some product in it today. The fro will be in Portland. Don't worry. I can't roll up there without the afro, but
we are not worried, sir.
And that video, my Lord, I needed a haircut. My hair was way
I love
too
that
long.
video. Makes me happy.
It is funny that he's been involved in our show for so long and didn't know about it. So that's no, it's cool. Again, Kyle, thanks, man. Good luck with what you got coming this weekend. Good luck with the Elite League and the what the hell do they call the strike? Is it still a strike derby?
Yeah, PBA Strike Derby.
Good luck in the strike derby.
Thank you. Yeah, that'll be aired. They're going to air that a little bit later, I believe, in October sometime. But
okay.
Appreciate you guys. Happy birthday to JP. Really enjoyed the time. Love doing the podcast. That's the episode 130 for you guys. Congrats to y'all for that. I mean, that's awesome. I did a little Sunday storm with myself and Nate for a while during COVID, and to see people with the consistency y'all have. Big shout out to y'all, and
yeah. Means a lot.
Cheers to you, JP. Got one more water to go.
All right, Kyle. Thanks, man. Have a good night, buddy, and safe travels, bro.
Say hi to the family for all of us. Love you, dude.
Right, I sure will, brother. Love you, bud.
Thank you,
All righty, dude.
What a wonderful, wonderful surprise that was. I haven't spoken to Kyle in quite some time. Down to earth, real, and he's
humble,
exactly what the PBA needs.
Yeah, he's one of the most humble guys I've ever seen with that much notoriety,
and he always has.
Yeah.
Didn't he go work at Wendy's because he went there for a day because he used to work there like way back when, and he went back in there and like he's like, hey, I used to work here. Let me don the apron for a little bit. I thought they did a piece about that or something.
He did do a piece about it. I don't remember it exactly, but I do remember the piece.
It was something like that. It was definitely a fast food joint. That's freaking wild.
Totally.
Jeff Skyers wants to know if the shirts have shipped yet.
The shirts are shipped, Jeff. You should have yours any day. Everybody should have them any day. They are shipped. And I think that maybe yours is in a bowling box, Jeff.
Oh, there you go.
Gonna give one more shout out to Sylvia with an I for the white V-neck recommendation one more time. And one more shout out to you, Rob, for always putting together something special and always taking care of everybody else. And to you, Ocho, for not only flexing your pecs, which I can do too, but also having your beautiful home prep for me tonight. I'm sorry that I'm bloated and kind of fucked up after last night at league. So just decided to, take my visits to the bathroom, kind of just chilling at mom and dad's.
How'd you bowl? Let's hear this. Let's do a quick league recap for JP.
Well, Monday, I bowled 762. I shot 227, 247. In the last game, I had the front 10 and shot 288.
Nice.
And then last night, I shot 230 for 668.
Oh, are you bowling Monday again at Howell?
Yeah,
I'm Mondays at Howell, and I'm Tuesdays at Majestic.
That's the new league then.
Yeah, that's the one instead of Carolier doubles I went to.
Gotcha.
And it's a 5-man league, dude. It's a long league.
Oh, that's a long night. Oh, Nikes.
Yeah, when Nick got there, Nick must have got there before you on Monday, and that's when he grabbed those extra happy birthday videos.
That was.
You got really Marvin. Weird. Holy shit.
Yeah, we got Marvin. That's Marvin made the day.
That ends it right there.
And obviously your dad was gracious as well. So
on that note, gents, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my birthday by snuggling up on the couch and either finding a ball game or
Prime Video. Yankees are still on 2-0.
There we go. Watch the Mets smoke the Blue Jays after going hitless into the 9th inning today. Yeah, they were being no hit going into the 9th, and Mr. Lindor decided to pop a little solo shot to ruin that, and then they added on another 5 runs after that. So it was a good day for the Mets. Nice. The Jets and Giants can kiss both of my testicles, but other than that, yeah.
Well, I'm glad
for that, though.
I'm glad you had a great day, buddy. I'm glad I could do that for you. We love you, bud. We really do.
Love you too, bro. Thank you guys very, very much. Time to go walk Evelyn and get ready for the rest of my first day as a 40-year-old. Fuck!
Don't break your hip when you're walking.
It's all downhill from here. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight for Johnny's 40th birthday bash. Thank you again to Kyle Troup for being gracious with his time and coming on the show. And you never know what's going to happen on this show. But we'll definitely be here next week. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Until then, guys, we appreciate your support. Good night, everybody. And Doc Sullivan, you know. You should know that.
Doc Sullivan.
Go fuck yourself, Doc Sullivan. Mm-hmm. Good night, everybody.
Later.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.